You're listening to the Basketball Nerd Podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Basketball Nerd Podcast, Episode 6. I'm your host, Derek Lauder, and joined by my co-host, as always, Frank Alger. On today's show, we're going to be talking about what happened on Sunday to close out the second round of the playoffs and get you ready for the Eastern Conference Finals and Western Conference Finals, which are coming up this week, as well as a couple of discussions that have come up about Kawhi, about the 76ers, Ben Simmons, and Joel Embiid, and just a couple other hot topics to debate to get us going. So we're going to jump right into it with the debate that's been going around Twitter, started by Max Kellerman on First Take, Kawhi versus Kobe. Now, this debate was started before everything happened. If you guys didn't see, the Raptors beat the 76ers in Game 7 on Sunday on a last-second buzzer beater by Kawhi Leonard, the only game-winning buzzer beater in Game 7 in NBA history. So the question that was floated around is Kawhi Leonard better than Kobe ever was? And I'll let you go first. What's your take on that?
Well, peak Kawhi versus peak Kobe, I guess is the question in hand. I don't think we've even seen peak Kawhi yet.
Yes.
So, give me Kawhi. I think. Okay, let me start off with Kobe. He's an all-time type player, one of the greatest ever, one of the top 12 greatest ever. But he's also maybe the most overrated player by some people in NBA history. Like, people try to put him
He's extremely overrated.
People try to put him in Jordan and LeBron category, and he's just nowhere near that. Like, not even remotely. Kawhi, a better defender. Kawhi is analytically much better shooter, better three-point shooter, better mid-range shooter, just better all-around game. Kobe might be a little bit better playmaker. They're around the same, honestly. Kawhi hasn't really shown a huge ability to be a great passer in a sense. That's the only negative I see with Kawhi. It's not even a negative really, but it's like the only thing he's not great at. So I think it's Kawhi for sure. And clutch-wise, people try to say, oh, Kobe way more clutch. I think Kobe is also one of the more overrated clutch players ever. When I think of Kobe clutch moments, the one moment that comes to my mind is the Suns buzzer beater in the first round where they're the 7th seed and put them up 3-1 in the series, and they proceeded to go on to blow that 3-1 lead and lose that series.
Right.
The next clutch iconic moment for Kobe's career is the lob to Shaq in the Western Conference Finals, I believe it was, against the Blazers, early 2000s.
Kobe definitely is. He's overrated not only clutch-wise but player-wise too. And people acted like Max Kellerman was insane for even saying that Kawhi is better than Kobe. Yeah. Let's hear a couple stats though. Points per game, Kobe. Rebounds per game, Kawhi. Assists per game, Kobe. Okay, it's starting to kind of go towards Kobe. Steals per game, Kawhi. Blocks per game, Kawhi. Turnovers per game, Kawhi. Field goal percentage, Kawhi. 3-point percentage, Kawhi. Free throw percentage, Kawhi. Effective field goal percentage, Kawhi. True shooting percentage, Kawhi. Win shares per 48, Kawhi. Offensive rating, Kawhi. Defensive rating, Kawhi. Should I go on?
He's better in every category.
He's better in every category except points and assists, and the fact that he's better in field goal percentage can even kind of cancel out the points because Kobe, we've all known, as a volume scorer.
Well, Kobe's had a whole career. Kobe. Kawhi's first few years, he's only averaging 15,
Yeah, those stats are probably only going to go up, and people who argue this, I like Kobe, but I just got to say, Kobe is an assassin. That's not a valid stat. That's not a stat that you can use in your argument to combat real numbers and analytics that Kawhi is better. Kobe is a killer. Kobe is an assassin. That holds no weight in actual arguments. You can say it as many times as you want. It doesn't make it true that he's more clutch of a player because you say it. It doesn't make it true. He's not as clutch of a player as some of the, LeBron. When you compare his clutch numbers to LeBron in the playoffs, it's not even close. It's not even close, but Kobe's an assassin, not a valid stat.
Just overall,
when that's used, should not be used.
Kobe, I don't understand this whole clutch thing. He has some clutch moments in the regular season. Analytically, you look at it, his clutch moments they're nothing compared to LeBron or Jordan or any of the all-time greats. Basically, I will say he would always take the shot if you want to consider the killer mentality. We triple team, he's taking the shot. So.
He's got the opposite mindset of Ben Simmons. He will take the shot no matter what. He wants the ball. He a volume scorer. And Kawhi Kawhi just beat the 76ers. Like, Kobe would have been proud, okay? You take 39 shots. Kobe's proud. And you win on a buzzer beater. You did whatever you had to do. Shaq was saying at the end of the, after the game that that's good because you get the best player of your ball as many times. Like, I don't agree with that. The reason the Warriors are so good and stuff is because they do move the ball and they don't ISO. But that's a different argument. But, yeah, Kawhi does have that Kobe. Like, if people want to say Kobe's an assassin, okay, Kawhi just shot 39 times in one game 7 on a buzzer beater.
That Kawhi moment tops
goes back and forth.
Any Kobe moment of his career, for being honest.
Yeah.
Like,
and I will say that I saw
I'm
a lot
talking
of
about
people on
moment.
NBA Twitter,
Like,
a lot of Kobe
5
fans
championships.
tipping their hat
That's
to Kawhi.
not moments. Like, that's a team winning a championship, and he was a part of it,
Right.
and one of the best players. Like, that, like Ray Allen hitting a 3-pointer against the Spurs in Game 6. Like, that's a moment.
Yes.
Kawhi
Like,
hitting a buzzer beater to win a Game 7
LeBron,
series.
chase down block. That's a moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Kawhi is so good. He's only going to get better. The Raptors vs. Bucks series is
one thing.
interesting one.
Which one do you think? I mean, because this was an iconic buzzer beater, but which buzzer beater do you think was doper in a sense, or was Dame's or Kawhi's last night?
Dude, I think Kawhi's, because Kawhi literally shot over fully contesting 7-foot.
Lillard was a step back 37-footer against arguably the defensive player of the year, though.
Yeah, but Paul Pierce, that shot wasn't really contested. Like, it was, but it was after Lillard had shot. Like, Lillard had a really good look at that from 37 feet.
Step back.
He had a really good look at it.
Or side step.
He did.
For me,
but
I enjoyed Dame's more. I think Kawhi's was more iconic.
But Kawhi's was shot of level of difficulty. Level of difficulty on the shot, I think Kawhi's is harder. I think it's close. But I'll say for Dame or Steph. Do you know what I mean? Because Dame and Steph can take those 37. Like, he can take those shots. They can shoot that shot at a decent percentage that it's not an insanely bad shot as Paul Pierce made it out to be.
I've never seen someone take a step back, though, from 37 feet. I'll say that.
No, but Dame was in his own. But, bro, I mean, that Kawhi shot,
they're both
Embiid had
legendary
such good defense.
shots.
Like, as you saw, Simmons just decided he didn't have to double or play defense or trap in the corner. He just didn't want to. He just decided, I'll watch Kawhi shoot the shot, which is infuriating.
Well, Embiid shift on him, and Embiid contested it as good as he possibly could.
It's the last shot in the game, bro. You don't hand it off. You double the dude who shot 39 times. You think there's 3 seconds left. The dude shot 39 times. Do you think he's going to give it up, or do you think you should maybe just double? Like, come on. Like, it's not – I'm not the only one saying this. Like, this has been – everyone is like, dude, you double. You got to show a little bit more effort on that defensive play.
Yeah,
Joel's crying after the game, and
effort,
Simmons is going to, not even doubling on the final play. Anyways, we'll move into that. So the 76ers going forward, they have some really big decisions to make. If they do keep Toby, keep Jimmy on close to maxes, and they re-sign Simmons, it's going to be, I think they're going to have barely any more space to fill out the roster. It was like 10 mil or 7 mil to fill out the roster besides that. So I don't see them doing that. I think Toby or Jimmy is gone for sure. I think the possibility of listening to offers on Ben Simmons is very possible. I was talking about this earlier today and was considered just ridiculous. But then since, in the last couple hours, news has actually broke that rumors are heating up for a Simmons for LeBron swap. And that's the kind of trade that Simmons has, that kind of value right now, that if you don't believe that he's going to get better, if you don't believe you can win big with him as one of your top 2 players, you can get out of him right now. I think the Suns could make an offer too, depending on what they get with their pick. If it's the 3rd pick and they can offer Josh Jackson and TJ Warren and maybe a future pick, it'd be hard to turn that down too if you're the 76ers for Ben Simmons. But I'm not saying you go out and you trade him and you put him on the market like he's just, that's just everything you want is to trade him and you diminish his value. But if teams come calling, you have to listen to offers. You've had this core for this 1 year, but the Simmons and the B core for 2 years, and they've shown that it's just not working in the playoffs right now. You could possibly build around one of them and make a different team. Yeah, but they just had Jimmy Butler, Tobias. They just had one of the best rosters in the NBA go at this time, and Simmons is drastically underperformed. Like, I mean, the dude shot 5 field goal attempts in his final in Game 7, 5 turnovers and 5 assists and 5% defensive effort on the last play. That's a lot of fives for a number 1 pick that people call the next LeBron, people call the potential GOAT, and people still call one jump shot away from dominating the league. Like,
well, when he doesn't have a jump shot in the playoffs and how he's guarded, I mean, it's hard to have. He does need to continue playing downhill. He needed to play in Game 7 more aggressive. I'll say that, but it's hard when you literally don't take a shot outside the paint to always have that aggressiveness, because he almost has to have the game kind of come to him to start his aggression-ish. And obviously he's magnified in the playoffs. So, and I mean, no one's defending Simmons. He was horrible these playoffs and last year's playoffs in the second round. He, disappeared in a sense, and they did need him, and he deserves some criticism. This whole trading him rumors, I mean, they're going to swirl. I think how LeBron's getting put in rumors about trading, I mean, I do think maybe the Lakers would. I think there is some people in the organization, whoever's running them, might be down to trade LeBron. But I think the Lakers are smart enough to be like, the only thing we have, the only asset we have is LeBron. LeBron puts people in the seats. LeBron is why we're going to be on every night, have a national televised game like every single week. Like, LeBron makes us so much bigger, and he's going to help us win right now. So I really don't see LeBron being in any trades. And these are all skepticals.
Simmons?
I mean,
Would
they
you
can't
trade
even
Simmons?
discuss any trades. If you were the Sixers, Simmons for LeBron?
Just in general.
If that was,
would you put him on the market?
If that was on the
offers, try to get him for AD, try to get him for LeBron, see what package the Suns could offer.
I want to try to get Anthony Davis, but just because I don't think Anthony Davis and Embiid would work well together at all. I mean, it really depends on, like, if you're the Sixers, I don't know. If you're the Sixers, I mean, it really is all about if you re-sign Jimmy Butler, then trading Simmons for LeBron would make more sense. But if Jimmy leaves, trading Simmons for LeBron makes no sense, because you're not going to be good.
Well, it's the other way around.
I mean, you'll be good, but you're not going to win anything.
That Simmons for LeBron trade would happen before free agency, most likely, during the draft or something.
I don't know if either team would make any trade before free agency happens. I don't think the Sixers are pretty much handcuffed to see what
Jimmy
Butler does.
If you tell Jimmy Butler we're trading Simmons for LeBron, he's re-signing in Philly.
Jimmy Butler could just be
re-signing.
like, I'm moving to the Lakers to play with LeBron in this offseason.
Yeah, but if you
wouldn't even have to be like.
Yeah, but if they tell him, look.
My point is
that
Jimmy wants to play with LeBron. They could come and tell him that, and Jimmy would be like, well, if you do that trade, I'm just going to go sign with the Lakers or something like that. And, like, they're just handcuffed. If they get...
That makes no sense, though. If Jimmy wants to play with LeBron and the 76ers fans love him, if the 76ers, front office came to him and said, look, this offer's on the table, LeBron for Ben Simmons. If we do this, will you sign? That's a reasonable scenario that he's like, yeah, I'm going to sign if you do that. And then their team is Joel, Jimmy, and LeBron. That's my pick to come out of the East next year, if that's the team, for sure, 100%.
Yeah, this is a massive rumor. I also saw that some people saying the Rockets should call the Sixers and try to get Chris Paul, multiple first-round picks to get
they should do
Ben
that,
Simmons.
Though. This is like in the last couple hours. This is broke from multiple sources that this is buzzing around the
NBA.
I
heard this before the series ended, through the media being like, Simmons for LeBron maybe. I think that this whole LeBron trade rumors is.
I think the LeBron trade rumors is crazy. But the one offer I think that they'd listen to is Simmons. Seriously, I think that's one offer that they would listen to.
If you're the Lakers, yeah, maybe. I mean, it all depends. It really depends. It depends on so much what the Lakers are thinking.
So if you're the 76ers, though, what's your ideal roster for next season going forward?
My ideal roster would be to have Landry Shamet still. This way.
Seriously, their future's tough because there's some good teams coming up in the East, especially if Brooklyn
they're
gets
so
good.
stuck. They shouldn't have tried to make it. Hindsight's 20/20, but all these the trades for Butler and Toby look very poor now because, I mean, if they made no trades this year, if they made none, I pretty confidently would say they would probably have been the 3rd seed and lose in the second round.
Yeah, or the 4th
maybe
seed.
Maybe the 4th seed and still lose in the second round. So it's like, and now you kind of mortgage your future. And Tobias Harris, most likely I feel like will be gone because you're not going to pay him the money he wants. And why would you when you just designate him to be a spot up shooter that it's not really his type of game. I mean, he's a solid defender, but now you're locked into having to offer Jimmy Butler a 5-year max deal, which, he's 30 years old. He's never shown to be like, if he's your guy on your team, the best player. I mean, I think he made it to the Eastern Conference Finals once with the Bulls when Derrick Rose won the MVP, and Jimmy Butler was just, young Jimmy Butler. Like, he was just a hard defending, hard working guy at that time. He wasn't no all-star caliber player or anything. So, but you have to give him that contract now because he made that trade. And I mean, Jimmy Butler has to want to stay there. So
yeah, I mean, from everything you're saying, it sounds like the best potential lineup is Jimmy Butler, LeBron James, and Joel Embiid.
I mean,
you gonna argue with that?
I mean, realistically.
Bro,
if
I don't know why
if they can resign Jimmy Butler, it's going to be Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, and Embiid, and then Tobias Harris is probably going to be gone most likely.
Bro, I don't think that they start.
That's going to be
I don't
your
think the
big
76ers start next year with Embiid and Simmons on the roster. That's a prediction I'll make.
That's a hot take.
It's a hot take.
It's a real hot take.
It's
I mean, it could be right. I said on the last podcast so many times that I would not trade Simmons, and I would understand trading Embiid because his. I mean, if Embiid was able to play 40 minutes every single game this series, they would have won. You look at the plus minus. I mean, they were minus 80 when he was off the court, and with his conditioning and his health issues, he wasn't able to play big minutes in any game.
That's true. But that's my whole thing, bro, is that if you trade Simmons and Embiid can play the whole series, they still win. If Simmons was out that series and Embiid would have been healthy and playing, I still think they win. Seriously, do you? I mean, he was invisible. He didn't do much. He didn't add much. And so that's the kind of thing going forward that if you can get some really good pieces for him and then Embiid can be healthy, you can win the East.
The biggest knock on Simmons is that he had a mirror image from year 1 to year 2 playing in the NBA. That's the biggest knock on him.
And also, how's it going to get better?
He has been a very productive player.
Regular season player.
Throughout the regular season, and yes, in the playoffs, he has, in particular in the second round, has played very, very, very poorly, as everyone can attest to. It is alarming. No jump shot, no hint of a development of a jump shot yet. I mean, he did take more jumpers this year.
He's a role player.
He took a couple threes, but
right now,
still,
as soon as the playoffs start, Ben Simmons is a role
shot.
player. And that's a problem when he's a cornerstone of your rebuilding process. When all of a sudden...
He's also 22 years old.
Yeah, but all of a sudden second round comes and Jimmy Butler is your point guard because the offense runs so much better with him like that. And I get the whole he's 22 years old thing, but this guy...
I know you think he'll never reach his potential.
Well, his potential would mean he'd have to get his jumper. It would mean he'd have to get a jumper.
If you're the Sixers and think he'll never reach his potential, and this is the player he's going to be his whole career, and if they're, from your standpoint, which is the stance that you kind of have on Simmons, and trading Simmons makes more sense because his value is, if he never improves, I mean, his value is never going to be higher because he is 22 years old.
Exactly.
Because if he's 26, the same player, it's not going to be the same. But
even if he's 24,
if you're on
the mindset,
if you're on my side where I think he can still reach his potential, there's no way you trade him. So
yeah, but that honestly
just depends on
if you look logically from a complete unbiased standpoint at Ben Simmons right now. Is he ever going to develop a jumper? The logical conclusion you'd have to say is no, because he hasn't even tried to improve on working from 3-point in the game. Hasn't even shot it. Doesn't even shoot him. And that is what's really, really concerning, because this is his 3rd year since being drafted. And at this point, you'd like to see at least a little bit of a progression of at least shooting when he's wide open to get more comfortable doing that. And the fact that he doesn't, that's what worries me.
Yeah, I've said it before. I mean, I know other people have said it too. He shoots with the wrong hand.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll ever develop a jump shot until he starts shooting with his right hand.
I agree with that.
98% of all his shots he's taken in his whole career when he goes into the paint is with his right hand. That's a real stat.
Yeah.
like 98%. Like
That's crazy.
he doesn't even attempt shots with his left hand.
That's crazy.
Like he's not even good at finishing around the rim with his left hand. I mean, he's not bad, but he's an elite finisher around the rim with his right hand and like an average finisher with his left hand, which his left hand is supposed to be his dominant hand. I mean,
yeah,
it's so obvious he's right-handed dominant. I mean,
yeah.
I've seen him. I saw there's a clip of him making a full court shot and he heaves it with his right hand. You would not be heaving a full court shot with supposedly your offhand. Like,
also, this is
you just
another
win.
take that I have, and probably going to be a hot take, is people always want to compare Ben Simmons to Magic Johnson. That's fine. He might be very similar to Magic Johnson. The NBA is extremely different than when Magic Johnson was one of the best players in the NBA. The NBA is now based primarily on threes and inside shots because of the analytics. And Magic Johnson was always a great playmaker, fantastic point guard in transition. But the fact that he never had a three-point shot, it's different coming into the NBA like that now, where pressure's on to develop you. So Ben Simmons is similar at this age to his numbers in Magic Johnson. But guess what? Magic Johnson at this age was shooting 20% from three-point shots. That means at least he was taking them. Simmons, 0%. So while the numbers are similar, there still shows that's a gap that he's not doing. And so those are the kind of things that concern me. But the 76ers, by far one of the most intriguing stories of the offseason, what happens with all their players, their coaches, where they're at next season, and what kind of run they can make. Because as much as this season was do or die, next season is boom or bust. Okay, moving on now to preview of the lottery, which will be coming up tonight before Blazers versus Warriors, which we'll get to right after this. This is a huge day for a bunch of franchises. Really big day for Phoenix Suns. Possibly getting a top 5 pick. Well, almost definitely getting a top 5 pick. Possibly getting the biggest prize of all, Zion Williamson, with the number 1 pick. So just real quick, a question, because we're going to wrap this lottery up with the podcast on Thursday and also get you wrapped up on the first couple games of the conference finals. But if we don't get the number 1 pick, so as in the Phoenix Suns do not get the number 1 pick, and this really can go for almost any team, and they're not going to take Zion Williamson because he's off the board. So let's say you get pick 2 or 3. What are you doing with the pick? Are you listening to trades about it? Is there a prospect that really stands out that you really like? And what kind of trades would you be willing to give up for maybe pick 2, 3, or 4?
From the Suns' perspective, right?
Yeah, or from any team that, really any of those teams, but yeah, address it from the Suns.
I don't think this draft class is very deep at all. There's really, I'd say there's 3 prospects that, that I think have, pretty high ceilings that I'm very excited about. Obviously, Zion. Zion is in a tier of his own. I do like Ja a lot. I think people are overhyping him a little bit. I've kind of slowed down on the Ja train. I do have some major kind of concerns with him. Like, I think he's going to be a good player in the NBA, but people are acting like he's like, going to be, great instantly and stuff. And
yeah.
I just don't see that. And he's not a bad shooter, but he's not a good shooter. And with everything you look at it, I mean, I don't think he's ever going to be an elite shooter. And there's this guy, Darius Garland, who I think has the potential to be like an elite shooter. And if you have potential to get an elite shooter next to Book, I'm taking that.
Garland is
over Ja.
Is a
not
a liability, but you could
ACL.
say a concern defensively though.
So was Ja though. Ja was horrible on defense.
Ja, look,
it was. You could say it was an effort thing, but that's still a concern.
Ja Morant was not horrible on defense. He was not horrible on defense. He won Conference Player of the Year. Okay, he was not a complete liability. He wasn't a lockdown defender.
He was clearly.
On
defense. There's no other conference player in that conference that's going to be a top 5 pick. So obviously he's going to be Conference Player of the Year.
Yeah, but he wasn't. He's not like some huge liability on defense. Like, and on top of that, okay, here's my perspective on the draft. I'll address a couple of things. First, what the Suns do at number 1 if they have it, and second, what we do if we fall to 2 or 4. So at number 1, I want to take Zion Williamson. Not even a question about taking John Morant like some people are suggesting. Zion is not only game-changing for the franchise as far as people in the seats, as far as popularity, but he's game-changing. I think he's one of the best prospects, if not the best prospect I've ever seen. I think his basketball
changes the whole
IQ,
course of the league. Whoever gets Zion, whoever gets Zion, it changes everything.
His basketball IQ is off the charts. That's one thing that I love about Zion. He says all the right things. All the concerns I had about other prospects coming out, I don't have about Zion. I think he's extremely motivated. I think that he is very good off the court. I think that he has a very good basketball IQ. I think that he wants to win more than anything. I think he'll be a good team player. I think he'll fit into any system almost flawlessly. I think he's only going to develop. He started shooting threes at the end of the tournament and was looking good on him. Really, there's nothing anyone can tell me that we should trade or do anything with pick number 1 except Zion Williamson. But moving on from that,
obviously,
yeah. But you say obviously, but there's people out there that have written that
if we got the number 1 pick and didn't take Zion, I don't even know what I'd do with myself.
Extremely sad day if we do that. If we fall to 2 to 4, however, I like John Morant as our future, but I would rather trade that pick for an established point guard if we can. Like I said, Ben Simmons would be a huge target of mine. As I know I just pretty much destroyed him for a whole segment, but he has potential when he's used right to be extremely good, and if that's even without a jump shot. But it has to be used right, and the Suns are a makeup that is right, like for Ben Simmons, like to pair with Booker. He can run the floor, he can make plays, and that's somewhere that I would fit. And I'm willing to take the risk that he does develop compared to John Morant. Like if that's what you're pretty much trading the number 2 pick, and maybe you can add an asset to it, that's pretty much the trade you're getting. Do you want Simmons or Morant?
If you can get Simmons centered around our top 5 pick this year, I love Simmons so much that, like, say we get the number 3 pick or number 2, even the number 2 pick, and we can actually get Simmons. I would offer that pick, offer TJ Warren, offer whoever else they really want outside of like Book
at that
and
point
Ayton.
you're betting on Moran or Simmons.
I would even give 2 more first round picks almost.
No, not 2 more.
To really get there.
Bro, he just averaged. All right, that's what I'm saying. He still just averaged. He still just went for 5 points, 5 assists, and 5 turnovers. Okay,
you don't need to take a lot to get the Sixers to just give up Simmons.
Bro, if you think I think it's gonna take a lot, but I don't think you need to give 3 first rounders and TJ Warren. I mean, bro, that's a huge offer. But I think that you could give this pick, a protected pick next year, and TJ Warren or JJ. But if we don't trade the pick and we have pick 2 to 4, like I said, I like John Moran a lot, and I think he will develop into a good player. Some concerns, no doubt about his game. I like Garland. Concerns defensively as well. I really like DeAndre Hunter and Culver, but I don't know if they're great fits for the Suns to help us add wins right now. I would say you take John Morant and you just really hope that he does have as huge of an impact. It's a gamble. Everybody acts like they are so sure on these prospects because he can't shoot, he can't do this. If you take John Morant, you never know. But one thing that really I do like is he's a great playmaker. He said before he really likes to get his teammates involved. So if you're not going to trade the pick, that would be who I take at 2 to 4. If he's gone, I say best available in this order: DeAndre Hunter, Jarrett Culver, and then probably Garland. And that's kind of my draft strategy. After that, if we fall below that, man, I don't even want to think about it. Moving on to quickly predictions for the first couple games. So we will wrap up these first couple games and go deep into these series once we have kind of a better view about how the two teams are attacking each other. But quickly, for the game tonight, KD being out, I'm tempted to take the Blazers because I think the Warriors are so hyped off beating the Rockets that game. It could be a slight letdown. I don't know if they're ready for how hyped the Blazers are going to be for this game. I was just listening to Kevin Durant today tell CJ McCollum on his podcast, this is before the season, that they should just not even worry about what's going on at the top of the league. I mean, so disrespectful. So that
it was very disrespectful.
Blazers are going to be ready. So
I remember listening to that and just making me so mad hearing that.
I know it's ridiculous, but I'm going to take Warriors, and then I'm going to take in the Wednesday game Bucks. For the record, pre-series predictions, I have Bucks in 5 and Warriors in 6, but I will be rooting for the Blazers. What about you?
I got, for pre-series, I think I got Warriors winning tonight. They're 8-point favorites. I say they cover the 8 points. So I think they win comfortably, and I think the Bucks win Wednesday, and I think both go 5, and I think we're gonna see a lot of blowouts. I think Bucks in 5. I think all their wins are gonna be easy breezy. I feel the same way almost about the Warriors too against the Blazers. I'm rooting for the Blazers so much, but because I love Damian, and that'd be awesome. But I think we're gonna get Bucks Warriors, and that's gonna be a major clash. It's gonna be interesting though. It's gonna be interesting. I mean, I saw this thing or this report that Dame said that the Warriors are due for an upset, and then Dame came out and like emphatically like denied, being like, I didn't say that, which is interesting. So Dame used to talk all that like a couple years ago when they were the 8th seed and played the Warriors after they went down 2-0. He like set Blazers in 6, and they proceeded to get swept. So we'll see. I think with KD going out, this just has it, and then this is just sent a jolt. Like the Warriors just seemed like way more happier in Game 6 and how they're playing and how they won and everything. And I think that's just gonna make it even better when KD comes back. Like they're gonna be playing so happy and so like good. Then KD's gonna come back, and then they're gonna be like, oh, we really can't be beat now. So.
All right. Well, with that, we'll wrap up. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to Basketball Nerd Today podcast. Watch the game tonight and tomorrow. Watch the lottery. Hopefully your favorite team doesn't get the number 1 pick, and hopefully the Suns do. As always, just go ahead, rate us 5 stars on iTunes, subscribe, give us a review, subscribe to our YouTube, check out us on basketballnerd.com. We appreciate all the support, and we need as much as we can get. Just trying to grow as much as we can right now. Anything else you want to say before we go?
I can't wait. I can't wait for these games. I can't wait for the NBA Finals, honestly. It's so close.
Yeah, it's a huge day for the Suns franchise today. Huge day for a lot of franchises today.
And the lottery. Oh, yeah. I'm going to be sweating bullets watching that.
And a good
changes everything.
Blazers Warriors tonight. It's going to be awesome.
Imagine if the Atlanta Hawks win the lottery.
Oh, my God. Or the Lakers. Oh, my God. I can't even. All right, well, thanks for listening, everybody. Basketball Nerd wrapping up, and share with your friends, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.
Basketball Nerd Podcast.